I am Pamela Merchant, and I will read excerpts from Experiments in Torture, Evidence of Human Subject Research and Experimentation in the Enhanced Interrogation Program, a report issued by the Physicians for Human Rights this summer. Investigation and analysis of U.S. government documents provides evidence indicating that the Bush administration, in the period after September 11th, conducted human research and experimentation on prisoners in U.S. custody. Research and experimentation by health professionals on prisoners violates both domestic and international law. The human subject research apparently served three purposes. First, it increased information on the physical and psychological impact of the Central Intelligence Agency's application of the enhanced interrogation techniques, which previously had been limited mostly to data from experiments using U.S. military volunteers under very limited simulated conditions of torture. Second, it served to calibrate the level of pain experienced by detainees during interrogation, ostensibly to keep it from crossing the administration's legal threshold of what it claimed constituted torture. Third, it served as an attempt to provide a basis for a legal defense against possible torture charges against those who carried out the interrogations, since medical monitoring would demonstrate, according to the Office of Legal Counsel memos, a lack of intent to cause harm to the subject of the interrogations. Assistant Attorney General for the Criminal Division, Michael Chertoff, told John Yoo in 2002 that, quote, "The more investigation into the physical and mental consequences of the techniques they did, the more likely it would be that an interrogator could successfully assert that he acted in good faith and did not intend to inflict severe physical or mental pain or suffering," close quote. Sadly, the report provides evidence that in addition to medical complicity in torture, health professionals participated in research and experimentation on prisoners in U.S. custody.
I remember being spat at. I remember the dogs being brought so close to me that I could almost feel the saliva dropping off the dog's mouth. I took a knife and ripped off my clothes. I could feel the cold blade gliding across my skin. And then being taken up naked, forcibly shaved. I was held for a total of 3 years. 3 years without charge, without trial, without any explanation, and I was released without charge, without trial, and without any explanation. We moved and lived in the city of Kabul, only for a few months, up until September 11th. I was, I think, playing a game on my computer in the middle of the night and just about to go to bed. The kids and the wife had already gone to sleep, and as I was about to turn in for the night, there was a knock on the door, so I found that very strange. And they stormed in, pushed their way in, and one of the guns raised towards my head. I was hooded, and just before they carried me away, I tried to say, "Please leave my family alone." Prisoner 421, and I remember his number because his back used to be towards me when his hands were tied up. He had slumped, his body had slumped. They had clearly put him there to break him, started punching him, and then unshackled him. Punching him to see if he was putting it on, and then they dragged him away and beat him some more, and eventually he was killed. My experience of America prior to this was everything that I'd seen in the films. The concept of the good guys, the concept of people trying to do the right thing, and that was shattered. After my experience of Guantanamo, I felt that there's a word that really encapsulates what I think of American justice: oxymoron. What's really important, I think, for the United States of America, that if it wishes to reach a solution and end the type of arbitrary nature of detention and warmongering that we saw under the Bush era, if people really want to see an end to that, then there needs to be a recognition that detention without trial is a fundamental principle that every developed, civilized nation should be against.
Marjorie Cohn, Renee Saucedo, and Jason Leopold will be joining me for this reading. We will be reading excerpts from the Combatant Status Review Tribunal of detainee Mustafa Ait Idir, held at Guantanamo. I will be reading the part of the tribunal president. Renee is reading the part of Mustafa, and Jason is reading the part of the recorder. Is it your plan to go through each allegation?
Yes.
Recorder, read each one aloud, and then allow the detainee to respond to each allegation.
Item 2.8.1, the detainee is Algerian, but acquired Bosnian citizenship by serving in the Bosnian army in 1995.
Is this the first accusation?
Yes.
As I said to my personal representative earlier, I have some papers that were with me when I was transferred over here. They could not find those papers. The papers proved I was not living in Bosnia in 1995. I acquired citizenship while living in Croatia in February 1995. I entered Bosnia, if I remember correctly, in July or August, about 2 or 3 months before the war ended. I am going to give you proof I was living in Croatia. In the year 1995, Croatia divided into 2 parts, Jupania and Dalmatia. I was the martial arts champ in Dalmatia in 1995. The certificate that says I won the championship is probably still in my house. It even has the date on it.
Can we move on to the second point?
The detainee is associated with the armed Islamic group.
I don't want to ask you about the evidence because you said the evidence was classified. If you have any evidence, you can tell me. It is no problem. I am going to tell you, and if you have any evidence, you can tell that to me.
Are you responding to that with either a yes or a no?
Of course, no. What proves that is if I was with the Algerian armed group? I would not have been able to go to the Algerian embassy. When my Algerian passport had expired, I had to go to the embassy to renew it. I had to hand in registration papers, which they take and send to the Interior Ministry in Algeria. The Interior Ministry sends those papers to the area where I lived in Algeria to verify all the information. So if I had any relationship with an armed group, or drugs, or weapons, or anything, the response to the Algerian embassy would be not to register me. I can tell you that I am not a member of this group. You can contact Algeria and ask them.
Let's respond to the next one, 3A3.
Item 3A3, Armed Islamic Group is a recognized extremist organization with ties to Al-Qaeda.
How can I respond to this? It is not a question, and it is not an accusation.
You are right. Let's move on to the next one.
Item 3.8.4, while living in Bosnia, the detainee associated with a known Al-Qaeda operative.
Give me his name.
I do not know.
How can I respond to this?
Did you know of anybody that was a member of Al-Qaeda?
No.
No?
No! This is something the interrogators told me a long while ago. I asked the interrogators to tell me who this person was. Then I could tell you if I might have known this person, but not if the person is a terrorist. Maybe I knew this person as a friend. Maybe it was a person that worked with me. Maybe it was a person that was on my martial arts team. But I do not know if this person is Bosnian, Indian, or whatever. If you tell me the name, then I can respond and defend myself against this accusation.
We are asking you the questions, and we need you to respond to what is on the unclassified summary. If you say you did not know, or you did know anyone that was part of Al-Qaeda, that is the information we need to know.
I have only heard of Al-Qaeda after the attacks in the United States. Before that, I had never heard of Al-Qaeda. Even after I heard of Al-Qaeda, I felt that Al-Qaeda was the Taliban, and the Taliban was Al-Qaeda. Then after watching the news, I knew Al-Qaeda was associated with bin Laden, and the Taliban was associated with the Afghans.
Item 3.8.5, at the time of his capture, the detainee had planned to travel to Afghanistan once his Al-Qaeda contact arrived there and had made necessary arrangements.
I can respond to this accusation with a question. May I?
Please do.
Did they find any stamps or visas on my passport to any countries close to Afghanistan? Did they catch me with a suitcase on the plane? Was I seen going to an embassy for one of the countries close to Afghanistan? Was I seen sitting and talking with anyone known to be a part of Al-Qaeda? How can they know that I planned? I do not know how they can know this. Do you have anything that is clear or proves clearly that I planned these things? The answer that I am able to give you is just to tell you that I did not plan these things, but I do not have any papers or anything to prove that.
Item 3.B.1, the detainee was arrested by Bosnian authorities on October 18, 2001.
Yes, but this phrase, arrested by, I just want to make very clear that I was not arrested. I was in my house and they told me to come with them so they could ask me some questions.
Item 3.B.2, the detainee was arrested because of his involvement with a plan to attack the U.S. Embassy located in Sarajevo.
The same answer as before. The only thing I can tell you is I did not plan or even think of that. Did you find any explosives with me? Any weapons? Did you find me in front of the embassy? Did I threaten anyone? I am prepared now to tell you, if you have anything or any evidence, even if it is just very little, that proves I went to the embassy and looked like that detainee, and looked like that at the embassy, then I am ready to be punished. I can just tell you that I did not plan anything. These accusations, my answer to all of them is I did not do these things, but I do not have anything to prove this.
Mustafa, does that conclude your statement?
That is it, but I was hoping you had evidence that you can give me. If I was in your place, and I apologize in advance for these words, but if a supervisor came to me and showed me accusations like these, I would take the accusations and I would hit him in the face with them. Sorry about that.
We had to laugh, but it's okay.